Hello, everyone. My name is Carlos Gomez. I'm marketing director at Sweep, and I'm a Southern Hemisphere person coming to this lovely room to bring a little bit of diversity, but also to show a big bite of Sweep, who we are. Today, we know that the world is off track. Companies are making commitments, but they lack the ability to really understand their carbon emissions and the data that they're working with. Um, But why is so important for companies or people in this room to be part of this conversation? Actually, you own the elephant in the room. 80% of the carbon emissions are coming from your supply chain activities, and that means that you need to take ownership of that. Whether it's upstream or downstream, you are the person that is going to lead the way through reducing the carbon emissions. But when you think about that, and given the fact that scope 3 emissions is 11 times scope 1 and 2, you might be thinking this is a really, really big challenge, right? And you think, I'm going to be alone on this. But as a matter of fact, we're all together. And the idea is to really bring collaboration to the spirit of the organization to make sure that we're tackling this big challenge. But what is the challenge? The challenge is two things. We know that the carbon emissions is a data and network challenge. That means that procurement and supply chain organization have a hard time accessing the carbon data from suppliers. They also lack the transparency to understand the methodologies that they're using. And most importantly, it's really difficult to engage them. You know, sometimes you have 20,000 suppliers who are you going to engage with first. And on the supplier side, they also have the lack of knowledge, but most importantly, the tools to act on carbon. And I think here's where Sweep really is successful at. We have a flexible and networked approach. We want to shift from unreliable data. That means you don't understand where they're coming from, the methodologies, and we want to make it really granular and auditable so people can take actions on it. We also want to have an automated process. You know, if you're going to start working on carbon emissions on scope 3, you're going to really need to work on many data points. So what we're trying to achieve is to automate that process for you and make it simple for organizations that have 30,000 suppliers to get that data right. And finally, what we're trying to do is to make it auditable and really compliant to the standards that are coming up, like the CSRD. So in a nutshell, we are a data platform at its heart. We are an end-to-end platform where you can get real-time emissions data on your supply chain. So we're going to help you to connect and automate your data collection. Like I mentioned before, in the past you were doing Excel files. That's really old school. We help you to automate that in a very simple way. You can organize by type of purchasing categories and supply chain emissions categories. We also help you to perform simulations. That means that you can see among your suppliers, who is going to be the best or the worst in terms of supply chain emission. So that is going to really help you to make data-driven decisions. I think this is the most important. You're going to have a real-time visibility of your supply chain emissions, and this is the way you can actually make actionable decisions into what and who are you contracting with and working in your supply chain. And finally, I think the most important thing, and Monsieur Boulanger mentioned that, and Jamal too, collaboration is key, right? So we need to enable people to work on collaboration through the tool and make sure that they're working on common targets to achieve their goals. Finally, there you go. We believe that supply chain professionals are really the new climate leaders. I think you've been orchestrating global, complex, disruptive supply chains. And I think, like I mentioned before, carbon emissions is a data problem. So you're really the right person to lead the way to make sure that these people on the screen are orchestrating all the information that they need to get, make decisions on it, and work collaboratively with your suppliers. And lastly, we're working with some of the biggest companies in Europe, Lacoste, Swisscom, and some of them. We're a European leader. But most importantly, our mission is to really make people or companies become forever companies. And a forever company is a company that doesn't look at carbon as a limitation, but as a creative force. So let's sweep together. Thank you.